Hi.
Hi.
Were you feeling a little shy?
No, but it's just funny. Hi.
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 How's it going?
Good. Very good. No complaints.
I can usually find one, but I won't. I'll spare you.
I mean, no, I probably could. I could definitely find something to complain about, but no, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling rested. I'm sleeping pretty much like a normal person.
Ooh, fancy pants, rich McGee over here. I slept terrible last night, but
oh, well, that's nothing new.
Yeah, it happens. I fell into a deep sleep this morning and then had to get up for a dental appointment.
Oh.
You know, when you really want to keep going, it was like so good. It was a really good starting into an early, my first nap of the day. And I was interrupted, but
like a baby, you know how babies wake up and have breakfast and then they go back to sleep?
I want to be a baby. I'm the baby. Like, that's my dream.
Yeah, no, I do my best sleeping in the morning after I've been awake for a couple hours too.
Oh, from 7 in the morning to 10 a.m. it's over for you bitches.
No, mine is more from like 6 to 8.
Okay.
Sometimes I get about 5 and I'm like, okay, I've slept long enough, but like I could probably do more.
You do love a 5 o'clock wake up. I don't think you love it, but it just happens for you.
Don't love it. It's just what happens. Sometimes it's like 4 and I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Welcome to Disrespectfully
with Katie Maloney
and Dana Cathan.
Unapologetically,
we're here to do what we want to do.
Spilling the tea.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women, like disrespectfully.
Should we talk about why we're gathered here today? What's going on? The changes?
Yeah, we have a little bit of a different episode today for y'all. We're just going to do one big, long sesh of WWDD and Heuxmetown Hero.
So the goal with this is we are kind of testing this out because we would like to know from you guys if you would like 2 episodes a week. So what we're thinking is we'll do a regular episode that's just all of our shenanigans, is keeping it on Wednesdays, and then would figure out another day of the week to do a shorter episode that is just Heuxmetown Heroes and WWDD.
Yeah, because we want to be able to answer more of your questions and read more of your stories. So if we had an episode entirely dedicated to that, we could really have some fun with it.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes because we're yapping, obviously, and we look at Leia and she's like,
falling asleep.
Wrap it up. We have to move on to this and sometimes kind of move through it quickly. And also we want to hang out twice a week with you guys. So I hope they like it. Do you hope they like it?
No, I hope they hate it.
You hope they hate it? Okay, I was just checking.
Of course, yeah. So let us know.
So yeah, write in so maybe we'll put up like a little poll after it comes out.
Ooh,
on the
poll
on the IG at disrespectfullypod. And if you guys want this, let us know so we can come bother you twice a week. We can have a kiki.
Grace you with our presence. Is that what it is?
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it then.
Do you want to start?
Yeah. So we'll start with some hometowns.
Heuxmetown Heroes.
Heuxmetown
Heroes.
Okay. Well, the first one we have is from Yahara. Yahara says, all right. I debated on if I should share this stupid / not proud story of mine. You should always share it.
Always.
And here I go. Elementary, middle school, high school, I had a huge crush on this kid. Turns out once I hit 18, I started dating his older brother. Nice.
Hot.
Me and this dude were together for years, but he had a serious coke addiction. He literally would catch a bullet for a bag of blow before me. Oh, Lordy. Anywho.
Just my type.
Big, huge red flag. Anywho, it was late at night at the family's house. Me and the brother were drinking in the garage while my ex was doing cocaine in the room. Turns out we got real drunk and ended up hooking up in the kitchen, like full on hooking up. When out of nowhere, their fucking dad turns on the light and we instantly scattered like roaches. I told my ex the following day and he did not break up with me. What?
Huh?
Hey, I just fucked your brother last night. Cool. Anyway.
Thanksgiving is going to be a little weird.
Yes, kidding. Also, after that, I couldn't help but give their dad the... What? Okay. I couldn't help but give their dad the you can get it next eyes. So am I a hero? Debatable, but it's def a story. Whoops. I mean...
You're my kind of hero.
If you would have fucked the dad and both the brothers, legendary.
I might get your name tattooed on my ass when we make sure we're saying it right. What are you talking about? You're absolutely a hero.
I want to know what the dad's reaction was to her little look she gave him.
Did you ever watch Shameless?
I've watched like a few episodes in the first season.
There was a story like same but different. The main character hooks up with her boyfriend's brother, and the boyfriend's brother is there and passed out drunk and like gets up for a second, and they're literally like hooking up on the counter, and then he passes out, and then the guy is really unstable, obviously, because he's fucking his brother's girlfriend, and
They seem both a little unstable.
Tells the whole family about it. Yeah, I think I'm not saying that you're stable per se. I don't want to go that far out there, but I'm deeply obsessed with the story. However, I wonder what what was the dad thinking? Like, is the dad like, should I tell my other son? Should I give my son that's railing this girl a high five? Are they both grounded? Like, what? How does that go?
Do I fuck her?
Do I get it? Like, and honestly, don't stop there. Get the mom too.
Oh, make it a whole family affair.
The sky's the limit. Why are we limiting ourselves?
That is pretty incredible. But I mean, good that you're no longer with the guy with the coke issue.
Yeah, I guess we're gliding right past that. There's multiple reasons I think that you probably should stay away from this family now, and possibly you'll get a court order at some point. But I love this. This is one of our best hometowns we've had.
That one's really good. Whenever it's like the family's involved, walking in on you, catching you, I don't know, you're hooking up with someone's brother or someone's husband. Ooh, it's terrible. But you know what? Thanks for sharing.
Do you think you guys will go compete on Family Feud someday? I hope so. What are your team names?
Imagine the category.
Things you shouldn't do in the kitchen for 500. Excuse me.
On a little side note, I saw this like a meme. It was on a meme page, but basically this girl
on TikTok or Instagram?
On Instagram.
Okay.
She had posted a video of her doing like those like sound bowls where you bang it, and you know she's very in like her mode. And she captioned
sound bath.
Yeah, sound bath, but with the bowls, you know. And she captioned it, "Can you believe I used to have a coke addiction?" And somebody had reposted and just put easily, very easily.
Yes. It was one of the first things we were going to mention.
Anyway. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Wow.
Damn.
And incredible. You're a hero, and you didn't go anonymous. Like, good for you. And you shouldn't.
And he didn't break up with you. Girl, you must have it going on if the brother's like not a good enough reason to break up with you.
I know. I kind of wish we had more information on that he was like, that's fine. It's okay. My dad caught you having sex with my brother, but you know.
And you want to fuck my dad.
I mean, maybe he would take a bullet for you. We don't know. So maybe speaks to his addictive personality. Anyway.
Yeah. Anywho.
Kanati says, "Morning, ladies. I wanted to start by saying the first paragraph is all love for you." Obviously, that's why we picked this. And has nothing to do with my short story. Haha. I fell in love with you both on Vanderpump Rules, and I'm falling deeper every week with Disrespectfully. Thank you for being so raw and open and honest with yourselves and all of us. I just wanted to quickly add, Katie, a goal of mine this year is to be sure of myself and my truth that I have more of an attitude like you do. Look up to you so hard.
Oh my God. Thank you. That's so nice. I have like chills a little bit.
Do you?
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
That was so nice. What a compliment.
No, we love you. This is so sweet. Now let's get into this. I'm from a small town in northern Ontario, and in my high school college years, I definitely slept my way through some friend groups. Get it? I wish I could say it's because my dad didn't love me, but it's because of some other fucking issues. So needless to say, I have a few stories.
Sometimes you're just horny. It's okay.
It's okay to be horny. You don't have to be like me, okay? It's not all like your dad did these things to you. Sometimes you're just wanting to get it on. It's fine. Mm-hmm. One that sticks out was a guy I've been friends with for a bit. Super cute. Family is pretty well known for owning the best chip truck in town. Ooh. What does that mean?
Chip truck?
What's a chip truck? Have you ever heard of a chip truck? Some Ruffles drive by? What
is it? Like chips, like fries, like the English say, or is it like actual like potato chips? Also, like chip truck. That must be a Canadian thing.
Where's mine? Or maybe who knows? Maybe this person's British. Okay, maybe.
It says tree trimming companies, production tree companies, and smaller independent contractors are buying chip trucks as an essential piece of machinery to ramp up their business.
That makes way more sense. That makes way more sense. Okay,
get your head out of 7-Eleven, Katie.
This is what it looks like.
Okay.
So you are an American, and we are idiots.
Like, I didn't know, like, you could be, like, well known for owning the best chip truck in town.
Maybe it's a smaller town.
You must be in a real small town if that's, like, glory over there. Anyway.
Okay, so we've established this has nothing to do with food. Got it. He's funny, whatever. First time we hooked up was horrible. Lasted about 2 minutes, and then he looked me dead in the eyes and said, "I guess you just have that effect on me." Pardon? Weird flex, but okay. Second time was on a beach, which I thought would... Nice. Second time was on a beach, which I thought would have to make it better than the first. Romance and all. Nope. horrible. Sand in places where sand shouldn't be. Wet, cold, 10 out of 10, do not recommend. Have you ever had sex on a beach?
No, because I'm worried about those very things.
I've had sex on a couple beaches, and it's strategic in placement. But yeah, it can get,
No.
you can
okay.
feel some exfoliation, if you know what I mean.
Ooh.
But it's the third time that really takes the cake. Yes, there was a third time. And this is like the melting sad face emoji or melting smiling emoji. Remember how I mentioned his family owned a chip truck?
Yep.
How could we forget? Well, after the bar one night, he tells me he has somewhere private we can go. Tell me this man did not take me to the musty ass basement where they store the fucking potatoes.
Wait a minute.
Leia, it is food.
They store it. It's little potato chips where they store the fucking potatoes for the chip truck.
Chip truck.
Tell me this man did not take me to the musty. It's for the fucking potatoes for the chip truck. This apparently is where I draw the line because I walked right out of there and never went back to him. You bet your ass. My girlfriend and I went back the next night to get potatoes for dinner, though.
That was a ride.
An actual chip truck.
First of all, still must be like a very small town thing for like them to have the. How many chip trucks are there?
Or
Like, they have the best one.
or another, maybe another country, because that is so weird to me. Like what you, Leia, found out makes more sense to me than that does.
Yeah, but I don't know. I wish we had chip trucks that just drove around. You could just go get a snack.
Well, also, when's the last time you heard or saw an ice cream truck? Still sparks joy.
Actually, there was one that used to drive by all the time in my neighborhood.
Did you ever get anything?
No,
I would. But do they take Venmo now? We don't know.
probably.
It was just cash. You'd like beg your mom for $1 and be like, hurry.
If those kids who come around and sell candy bars for their like sports team or whatever accept Venmo, I guarantee the ice cream truck does.
They do? The kids have Venmo now? Do they have like
Yeah, because I'll be like, sorry, I don't have cash. I never really have cash on me. They're like, I can take Zelle or Venmo. And I'm like, Jesus.
They're like, just a
Christ.
couple questions on the screen for you right here.
They pull out a square, like swiping cards. I mean, yeah, no. Well, damn. I mean, listen.
I think we're all guilty of trying it once, twice, thrice when it wasn't the vibe.
But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It is a compliment if a guy can't last with you because you got him really turned on, really revved up.
I subscribe to that as well. Like, if it's an hour in, I mean, maybe he's having issues anatomically. But yeah, if it happens quickly, then yeah, it's like probably is that you're just really hot and really good in bed.
It's a bummer for
But
us.
But it's a bummer. Yeah, it doesn't mean you have to be happy about it.
No.
And you also really tried in terms of you really tried different. You mixed it up.
The beach.
The second time being on the beach is crazy. The times it's happened with me, I've been in relationships and like we've been hooking up for a really long time.
I know that's like such like a fantasy or people say like, oh, sex on a beach, but I have never been like, yeah, I want to do that.
Where's the weirdest place you've ever had sex?
A movie theater.
Stop.
Yeah.
What was the movie?
Wimbledon. It was a matinee and it was a $1 theater.
Not okay, so it wasn't
Shout out to that boyfriend.
Wasn't Challengers. That is so funny.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I've definitely done it in weird places, but I'm trying to think. I've done it on a ferry boat. That's kind of unique.
Yeah.
I would say.
Was there a lot of people?
Yeah, but we were in the car on the ferry boat, but there was
Titanic.
Yeah, I slapped the thing, and then the staff came looking and like snapped their finger, and the whole thing happened. We didn't get caught.
Well, I'm glad I didn't sing because you may not be here.
That's true.
Imagine being like in a car with cars lined up next to you, and the boat starts to sink.
Oh yeah, a nightmare.
That's like some Final Destination, New Fear Unlocked kind of thing.
Wait, speaking of Final Destination, I saw something the other day that someone was behind a log truck, logs flew through, but it was on the passenger side. So the driver lived, but had someone been with them. And someone
Holy
posted
shit.
it and was like, every millennial alive is like, don't drive behind a logging truck. I will avoid that shit at all
I don't like
costs.
to drive behind any truck that has like stuff in the back.
Mm-mm.
Especially like those gardening trucks where they got like shovels and things like that. And if something's not strapped down and it flies out,
They have a nice hoe and some like an axe pick. and
Yeah, some really sharp metal objects in there that will go right through your windshield.
They have objects that look like what death chooses to go pick people up. Like what is happening back there? No, and also like things strapped to the car.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, because then you're left up to the devices of someone. You have to trust someone else that they did a good job with that, and we just don't know.
Yeah, and the thing is, I try to leave a lot of space between me and that person in front of me,
Mm-hmm.
just in case something, and I can swerve out.
Hey, we'll keep your eyes peeled for a chip truck.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, that was crazy. We have a very important announcement to make.
Boll Branch annual summer event. It's here, you guys. It is finally here with 20% off site-wide, and it's perfect time to upgrade your bedding.
Get 20% off site-wide and save on bestsellers like Boll Branch's signature hemmed sheets. They feel buttery to the touch and are super breathable, so they're perfect for both cooler and warmer weather.
If
And
your
it's
sheets right now are like
hot.
those like hot, navy, greasy with your creepy pillow, like we gotta upgrade, and this is the time. Their signature sheets are made with 100% organic cotton using the highest quality threads that are completely traceable.
This is Boll Branch's best sale of the season, so take this chance to upgrade your bed and sleep better for years to come.
I run real hot.
Hmm.
I had to get up last night, this is no joke, and turn my apartment down to 63 degrees.
Jesus.
I usually go between 65 and 68 because I was just a hot little tamale. And before switching to Boll Branch, I stay tossing and turning, trying to get cool. I wake up, my blankets are on the floor. It's just a mess, and I'm a sweaty monster.
Same. Boll Branch sheets are woven to allow airflow and feel cool and crisp to the touch. Perfect for sleepers who run hot like we both do.
Boll Branch has amazing options for hot sleepers. Choose from 100% organic cotton percale that's made with naturally cooling weave, or their linen, which is made from European flax to be light, airy, and softer than soft.
You can really feel the quality immediately with Boll Branch. I love how silky and soft they feel and how they just keep getting softer every time you wash them.
And we know how I feel about 5-star reviews. I wish that was like available for dating people in real life. You just look at them and you can see their review.
Honestly.
Boll Branch's signature sheets are loved by millions of sleepers and have over 11,000 5-star reviews.
Boll Branch's 30-night worry-free guarantee means you can wash, style, and sleep in their sheets for an entire month. And if you don't love them for any reason, you can send them right back with free returns on all U.S. orders.
And it's not just sheets. Boll Branch has the airiest blankets, most cloud-like duvets, fluffiest pillows, and so much more. Get the best savings of the season during Boll Branch's annual summer event. For a limited time, you can get 20% off site-wide, plus free shipping and a free gift with qualifying purchases at bollandbranch.com with promo code disrespectfully.
That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com, promo code disrespectfully for 20% off and a free gift. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
There are many reasons why people choose to limit their carbs, and summer can definitely be a difficult time to do so.
For example, I love a good summer BBQ. For those limiting their carb intake, it can be difficult to avoid those hamburger buns, glizzies, and sandwiches.
It's nearly impossible.
It's a tragedy.
I would say you just can't. But don't you worry. Hero Bread reinvented the bread and buns that make summer great. Fluffy, delicious flavor and texture with no net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, and fewer calories, plus protein and fiber. I love when things don't just take away, but add the good stuff. That's what we need, is the protein and fiber.
Ooh, yeah. And now you can try their sweet, melt in your mouth Hawaiian rolls for guilt-free summer sliders. I love Hawaiian rolls, and the Hero Bread Hawaiian rolls are actually so delicious. Give me a Hawaiian roll.
If you cut me open, Hawaiian rolls might fall out. I literally
Yes.
love Hawaiian rolls, especially these. What I love most about Hero Bread is that it's a great source of fiber, which I feel like I never get enough of in my diet. My favorite is the seeded bread, which has 12 grams of dietary fiber in each slice.
And my favorite is obviously the hot dog bun, because you all know how much I love my glizzies. And they also have 11 grams of protein, which is insane.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
What's so crazy about Hero Bread is the texture. It's so fluffy and it doesn't fall apart like other brands.
Keep the carbs out of summer without compromising flavor with Hero Bread. Get 10% off your order at hero.co and use code disrespectfully at checkout.
That's disrespectfully at hero.co.
Chip trucks. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that. I guess we got to try chip truck sometime.
I mean, the way we felt so stupid. Leia always just trying to make
The
us
way
look
we were
dumb.
like on the right page, and then we're like, oh yeah, of course it's not food. We would only think that it's actually like something functional. But I just wonder, like, how many chip trucks are there? They have the best one.
Trying to make us look silly. Who needs friends or who needs enemies when you have a producer like Leia?
I'm trying to figure out, is it like an ice cream truck, chip truck, like you guys were saying, or
Like
is
a
it like
food
a
truck.
Lay's potato chips?
I mean, it seems like it's like a food truck, but it's just chips.
We'll research it and circle back. I have no
Okay.
idea, but
All right.
Fries?
your turn.
Danny says, worst/scariest date story? I got you. I was living in San Diego, hard enough to be swimming in fuckboys and trying to find someone decent. Touche. I matched on
I lived there for a year and a half. Can attest.
I matched on Hinge with an almost cute vintage store owner and decided to meet up. Almost cute. It was aight. The red flags were all there, starting with ... I was sober at the time, very upfront about it, and he decided we were going to meet at a dive bar. We meet up and I order a ginger ale, and this man decides he's going to get trashed. Oh no. The drunker he got, the more insane he became. He talked about his ex-wife from Korea for about 20 minutes, which at that point I should have left, but I'm a people pleaser and honestly started to feel bad for his little divorce sob story. But then, ladies, when I tell you I became afraid, he tells me a story of a Tinder date he went on a few months ago that ended up with his date dying. Apparently, they had gone back to her place and taken acid together. He describes her as levitating and doing some voodoo shit on him. He woke up the next morning at her house and she's dead. Dead as fuck. Goodbye, life on earth. She's gone. Police got involved and ... no foul play. Needless to say, this man was not about to walk me to my car. A bartender didn't charge me for my ginger ale, and I got the hell out of there. I kid you not. This man texts me the next day and says he wasn't feeling the vibe and we'd be better off as friends. Okay, murderer. No, thank you, sir. Love you both. Katie, you're my style icon. Dana.
SSDGM'd.
What's that?
It's from MFM. That's another podcast I listen to that I've talked about on here. So
okay.
love you for pointing that out. That's so cute.
SSDGM'd so hard on this date.
It stands for Stay Sexy, Don't Get Murdered. Yeah, you did.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you did.
Maybe he should not tell that story. Perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, this takes me back to Brown Flip Flop guy who was telling a whole story about another woman. It's like, I've overshared on a date, but I don't think I've overshared about a possible murder I was involved in. Probably a good idea not to talk about that.
No. Do people overdose on acid?
I think that the only drug you truly cannot die from is weed. So I'm guessing you can die from that, or it may, I don't know, you can go into a psychotic break. But also, again, it's your first date. When you're sober and the other person gets absolutely drunk, which again happened on that date and has happened to me on several other dates. It was me. I was the person that got too drunk. No, I'm just kidding. It's such a nightmare. So not only that, but he's like talking about an ex and then talking about this weird story. Like, can you recall a time in which someone got wasted with you? I feel like that's happened to everyone.
Oh, for sure. Probably dozens of times. But the thing is, I'm right there with them probably.
Well, yeah, we're not usually sober.
But I know what it's like. Like, there's been times where I've been taking like a month off of drinking and I go and hang out with people that are drinking and I'm like, is this what I'm like when I'm, you know? But yeah, on a first date, I don't think it's always the best idea to get like super drunk anyway, because I will definitely overshare. And I'll have anxiety the next day about what the fuck. I was like, why would I talk about that?
I look at a glass of wine and I'm like, let me take you back to 97.
Yes.
Like, what are you doing? Stop talking like that. I think my sister probably takes the cake as far as like someone getting wasted on a date with her. She was really young. It was like right after college and she was living in San Francisco. And I hope she doesn't get mad that I'm telling the story, but she didn't do anything wrong and it's funny. And she went on a date with this personal trainer and they were like, it was a happy hour during the afternoon. So it was like 4:00. It was not late at all. It was meant to be just casual drinks like over at like 6, right? And like 20 minutes into the date, they're having their first drink and he goes, do you want to take some Molly? And she was like, no, thank you. I'm good. And it was a weekday. And not that that even matters, but you're like literally just meeting someone. He was like, do you mind if I take one? And she
What?
Yeah. And she was, and at the time she's so young and was probably too uncomfortable to be like, I want to leave. He took it and started rolling his dick off 20 minutes later on a date with my sister who was dead sober. And needless to say, that was their one and only date.
Why would you want to just casually do Molly when someone else isn't doing Molly and you're like on a date? Like, people have no like.
Well, he obviously wasn't well. Like, why are you doing that?
That is insane.
That's pretty insane. I think it's worse than that. But yeah, glad you didn't get murdered and glad you are done with this person.
Yeah, that is so unfortunate. Especially when like, you know, sometimes when you're really actively dating to like get into like a relationship, you know, every date you're like, oh, I'm excited. This could be fun. You get ready, you get dressed, you look pretty, and then you show up and it's just a trash bag of a human. No.
Well, I distinctly remember I was on a first date with someone and he was drinking like old fashions or something. And I had a martini and only had planned on just having one. And then he was like, let's get another round. And then I think I thought that was going to be the only, like we were done for the night. And then he's like, let's get one more. And I should have switched to water or a glass of wine.
Yeah.
And I remember being very drunk and having a drunk makeout in which he like lifted me up at one point and like kind of was like turning me around and hit my head on a building with like the corner of a
Jesus. So you got a concussion.
I wasn't concussed, but I never spoke to him again. So anyway, last one. Sarah says, I love this podcast and love topics. My Heuxmetown story truly is short and sweet. Back in high school, when I first started to date my high school sweetheart, we got a wild hair up our butt and decided to drive to Griffith Park at night. On a school night, nonetheless. Looking back, I am shocked my mom let me out. LOL. Anyways, once we found the parking lot and were grateful that it was empty, we hopped into the back to bump skins. The first and only times I did it in the car. Do you ladies have any sex in the car stories? I mean, I've already shared one, but I've had sex in lots of cars. Would you say you've had sex in lots of cars?
Not like
Well, maybe it's like the martini thing. Like one's all right, two's
no,
too
I
many.
mean,
I probably
yes,
shouldn't
but
have had sex in any cars.
it's not something I did with like every person I dated. The same person in the movie theater, yeah, there was the Mormon parking lot church. That was like this
Mormon parking lot church?
the parking lot. Sorry, the parking lot of the Mormon church is where we'd go to.
I'm surprised they
hang
didn't
out.
come out and try and save you.
Well, it was at nighttime. Doesn't mean that no one was in there, but there was no cars there. But but still, like, why? Also, why would you want to be the only car in the parking lot? That just looks suspicious. I wasn't very smart. I was also young.
I can't remember the last time. It's been a while. So I think these are all things you do when you're typically like
Oh,
she's in
yeah.
high school. I mean, I definitely with my high school boyfriend who I've talked about before, once did it during daylight in my 94 Jetta that did not have tinted windows in just like a cul-de-sac. And which looking back, that is so reckless. And then we used to have this like kind of woodsy area that like all the kids would go to. It was like it was like this like outdoor lookout space, but people were only there to go to smoke weed and have sex really. So we definitely would hit that place up. But glad you didn't get caught because I feel like there's always security guards around Griffith at night. Or am I making that up?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's closed. Like, I don't even know how far you can drive up at night, right? I don't know.
Leah? Share with class? You ever boned in a
Oh.
car? I don't care about the hours. You don't have to share, but I want you to.
Yeah, and what happened was I left the headlights on. My car died, so we had to call our parents, and that was devastating. It's the
Were they,
first
like-
time our parents met.
Where were you parked at?
Around the corner from my high school.
Were they like, why are you in the car? Did you tell them or?
They were like, why are you in a car? And I was like, oh, we got lost on our way to Starbucks, which is across the street from the high school, like walking distance. And they were like, no, you didn't.
It's like, we were just talking.
They
Kids
were
are
like,
so
what are you
stupid.
doing?
Also, like the things that we
Yeah.
do and thought we were slick about. Anonymous says, hey girls, hey. I first wanted to give you your flowers on an amazing podcast year. I truly love hearing both of you talk and give real raw advice on things that we go through privately that we are too chicken shit to speak about openly. I'm the chicken shit at times. That's fine. We're all chicken shit at times.
Mhm.
A few months ago, March to be exact, myself and two close friends were jumped by a group of drunk men, unprovoked, I may add. And unfortunately, I received most of the physical damage to my body and the most to my face due to one of the men sneaking me and knocking me out. I suffered front teeth damages, knocked my teeth out of alignment. Yikes. A concussion for almost 2 weeks and nerve damage to my lip. Everyone around me continues to make me feel like I should be more upset and I guess feel more victimized, but it's been a struggle to even accept what happened and move on from it. They've also been supportive and loving toward me. Katie, I've always been inspired by the way that you acknowledge what happened to you in the past and how transparent you were. I know that the two are not comparable. I'm so happy you survived and thrived from it, but I can't help but shake the rage and sadness I feel inside. I've tried boxing classes, therapy, and even some meditation, but I ended up feeling like Elmo in fire. Also, my PTSD has been extreme lately that I can't think of even going to brunch without feeling like I'll get attacked again. Any advice on what might help me maneuver through these emotions without wanting to fight everyone or at least get back to shaking ass at brunch? Thanks for reading my grammatical errors, horror story. Laters, babes.
Holy shit.
I mean, I'll let you start because
I mean-
it directed it obviously same but different, but I get what you're saying.
I think the hugest thing with the mental and emotional healing is time. It just takes time. And I don't think you should be hard on yourselves. I don't think you should repress any of those feelings. I mean, it seems like you're trying to channel it and you're trying to get therapy. So I just think you need to be patient with yourself and not be hard on yourself. It's a weirdly awkward thing when you go through something like that because of the effect it has on the people closest to you. Because I'm one of those people that I never wanted to be a burden to anyone or have anyone worry about me. I like same thing when I was going through my divorce. Like I would not call anyone to talk, or if I was sad, I would just kind of sit alone with it or then, talk in therapy about it. But I think the people that you do feel comfortable with that are supportive in a way that is like loving and not trying to rage bait you or anything like that are people you should really lean on. But I think it's really also difficult too because this is something that happened to you. You're a victim of a massive offense, and that is the hardest part to get past because you want to think like, could I have done something differently? I understand the feelings of the PTSD and the anger, and yeah, it's a really complicated set of emotions. So I understand it, but I think it's just time mostly.
I think that kind of like you were just saying, but random acts of violence are particularly traumatizing and difficult to work through. I would say, I mean, you are doing the right things, that you're going through, trying to take certain exercise classes that help you with rage and, seeking a therapist. One thing that I might add on to that, I bet if you're comfortable with it, that there are support groups specifically for people who endure violent crimes. Would definitely be something to look into. But then also, like Katie said at the beginning, with time, I think it'll definitely help. And perhaps some exposure therapy, like slowly, like who knows, maybe make a brunch reservation. And if you're not feeling up for it, then don't go. And then next time go and see if you're comfortable enough to go in and actually do it. And if you are, then great. And if you're not, maybe next time, and like keep working toward it. And I bet that eventually you'll get the ability to get there and it not be taking up so much real estate in your mind. And get back to shaking your ass, which you deserve and which we all want to see and we all want from you. I'm really sorry that happened to you. That's horrifying.
Yeah, but it's only been a few months. So I think just be patient and baby steps and just look for the support where you can get it.
Totes.
Yeah.
We love you.
Thank you for writing in. Okay. Next, Kelsey says, I love you both and I think you're stunning people. Thank you. I am heartbroken navigating a breakup with the love of my life, I thought, and a friendship breakup. We have been best friends since we were 4 years old, and I'm sick over it. It feels like the friendship breakups are indescribably more difficult. Any advice would be much appreciated. I really want to get over my ex, but it's so difficult when he's the first man to have truly loved me wholly and beautifully. Imagine moving on from that. Also, these are two different breakups, BFF and the ex-boyfriend. In case it sounded like one person. I'm stuck, babes.
Well, I mean, saying imagine moving on from that, I have definitely been in that situation. I'm sure you have too. So I feel like that's a pretty universal experience. And wait, did she say this was her first?
It was the first man that really loved her. I don't know if it was the first relationship,
Okay.
but it seems like the first, like, very serious.
So I totally understand that. I think that sometimes you find yourself in certain relationships that go to deeper waters, and that is a difficult thing to untether from. Look at it like this. Even if you have a relationship that you don't particularly care about that much and weren't like, this is the love of my life, breakups are very unfun and very difficult to deal with, particularly if they're compounded by other issues you're having, such as losing a friend, which is also incredibly difficult. And we've talked about in the past that friendship breakups are sometimes worse than romantic relationships.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that this one is just going to take time, and it's sometimes harder. Like they say, don't get tattoos when you're dealing with some other physical thing that's going on, because it's harder to heal one part of your body when another part of your body is struggling. And I think the same is true of emotional pain. So I think that it's okay to be stuck right now. Just acknowledge where you are, and all you can do is take little steps to get better, and then it will pass. And one day you're going to wake up feeling better. And I know that this is the first person that you felt wholly loved by and very seen by. but please don't get into the trap of thinking that it's going to be the only one that you ever have.
Oh, yeah. No, I think you can have many of those in your life. Breakups cause major like disrupt in your life and routine. And that sort of change can be really difficult to deal with because, you know, all the times you want to pick up the phone and call said boyfriend or best friend, like now you don't have that sort of access anymore and you don't want them to have access to you as well. So I think it's just unlearning habits, creating new ones, maybe meeting new people. I mean, I think that sort of transition from that place to a new place where you have to be accepting of how people just aren't in your life anymore is really hard. That's a really painful time to go through because I just know that like you think about holidays and like I remember going like after my divorce, I was fine. I knew it was the right thing. I felt good. I felt very, you know, satisfied with my decision. But there would be things I hadn't considered, like when our wedding anniversary came up or like then the holidays came. And those were times it was like really difficult because, you know, that's when you spend time with the people that you are closest with. But like any other breakup in the past, you think about how much it made you more resilient and stronger. It's very character building. So I think if there's a silver lining to look at, it's that as long as you are learning from this place in your life and applying it to the future, you're going to be a much stronger person. And I always think about that when I'm going through something that's really trying and really difficult, that I'm like, this is going to make me a stronger person, and embracing that end of it.
Just keeping in mind that it will end. Like, I look back on the most painful breakups of my life, and at the time it felt like it was forever. And it was just like, it's such a horrifying feeling. But then, like they say with women with severe pain because of childbirth and like it's built into us, we're meant to forget pain and move on from it. So I can look back at that version of myself and remember it hurt really bad, but it just doesn't. It doesn't exist anymore. So you're going to be all right.
You're going to be all right. Like we said, it's like you're getting a software update at this point because you're working through some difficulties, ironing out some kinks, things that don't work. But I think, you know, it's making room for amazing people to come in as well.
Totally.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp.
We get a lot of people emailing in for our WWDD segment about how they can stop comparing themselves to others. And I feel like these days with social media, it's just like really difficult not to.
But what we always tell people is that oftentimes what you see on Instagram is not reality. I know something that's been really helpful for both of us when it comes to comparison, among other things, is just going to therapy.
I wish everyone went to therapy. Just the world would be so much better. Therapy can help you focus on what you want instead of what others have, so you can start living your best life. Hello, comparison is the thief of joy. We know that. I say it all the time. I have been in therapy for years and years and years, and I just look back on so much wasted time, especially of just like wanting what other people have and wanting to look a certain way or be a certain way, and really finding self-love, which, as corny as it sounds, it's just true. It comes from that. And I don't think I would have been able to do that without my therapist.
Well, and like learning really how to like set boundaries in your life and what those are within yourself. Cause I think it is different for everybody. Yeah. And having mostly like a neutral person in your life. You can talk to your friends, you can talk to your mom, you can talk to those people in your life, but having someone that's sort of that neutral person in your life, that unbiased, is, I think, critical. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule.
Which is so important, because if it's not, you're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge.
Stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/disrespectfully today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/disrespectfully. I feel like we have a particularly exciting summer plan this year.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a few exciting weddings, some big events, and of course, our trip to the Hamptons.
As excited I am about all of the above, there's literally nothing worse than wearing uncomfortable shapewear in the heat.
Absolutely not.
This summer will be different though, because Honeylove.
With Honeylove, you can feel your best even when you're wearing less. They've revolutionized compression technology, so you no longer have to feel like you're suffocating while wearing effective shapewear. I personally love how I feel in Honeylove shapewear. It's just so freaking comfortable.
So comfortable. Also, you know when you're wearing something tight and shapewear rolls and you can just see it through your dress and in every photo. Like there's some things that Facetune just cannot fix. Not to mention you're stuck pulling it up through the dress all night. What I love most about Honeylove is it won't ever roll down. It stays where you put it.
Honeylove shapewear features lingerie-inspired design details, so you like want to show off. And it's made with breathable fabric that keeps you nice and cool, which is perfect for hot days.
Like, you know, in Bridget Jones when she has the granny panty shapewear.
Yeah.
Like that's not happening to you in
No,
this
no, no.
situation. For a limited time only, you can get Honeylove on sale. Get 20% off your entire order with our exclusive link, honeylove.com/disrespectfully.
I personally love the Superpower short. It has targeted compression technology that distinguishes between areas you want more support and areas you need less compression. It's very important. Their signature X targets and sculpts your midsection without squeezing your natural curves. It's designed to work with your body, not against it. It's also a booty lifter. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Boost bands on the back of the thigh give your bottom amazing shape.
Comfort is still extremely important to me. That's why I love Honeylove so much. Honeylove has more than just sculpt wear. They have incredible, comfortable bodysuits, bras, tanks, and leggings for everyday support. And you know how serious I take my leggings. That'll always be my first love.
Mm-hmm. Whether it's for a wedding, event, or an everyday boost of confidence, Honeylove is the perfect plus one.
Treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/disrespectfully. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off, honeylove.com/disrespectfully.
After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. The summer vibes are just getting started, honeys. Shape your life with Honeylove.
Rachel says, I just finished the first episode and I'm obsessed. I have a question for the pod. I know it may be a bit taboo to discuss, but fuck that shit. I think you're the right women to have this open forum with. I had a traumatic sexual experience that just completely fucked my adult life up. First time with sex was SA when I was too drunk to consent on my 21st birthday. Yeesh. Anywho, I'm 39 now, and this experience basically halted my dating life for an entire adulthood. But I've been in therapy for a couple years now, and I'm ready to dip my toe back in. But I have no idea how to start. The topic I'm bringing to the table for discussion: how do we have healthy dating and sex lives after sexual assault?
Oh, I don't think there's a one size fits all with this one because similar to any kind of traumatic experience, I think not burying those feelings, but addressing them head on and really healing from them is the only way through it, to be honest. And as much as I'm not saying about like reliving that experience, but like forgiving yourself, because I feel like sometimes we hang on to guilt when it comes to those types of things. And I think releasing yourself from any guilt that you might feel. I'm not saying you have to forgive, forget, or anything like that, but to take your power back, you have to not hold yourself accountable for things that happen to you.
Yeah. First of all, so sorry that happened to you. And I also understand that and everyone, I think, handles those situations differently. Like we're all different people, and some people can compartmentalize and just move on, and some people need more time. So I think that in any relationship or intimacy, there's a huge level of trust. And if someone broke your trust and took something from you, it can be really hard to then try and trust people in the future. And especially with something so delicate as sex and relationships. So also particularly because it was your first experience, like that's just such a rough way to start that off. I'm really glad that you're working with a therapist. And I do think that they'll be able to give you the best guidance. But as far as how to start dating, I mean, it's different for everyone. If it's something that you would be comfortable with trying the apps, you can definitely do that. But I think there's going to be online dating is always more of a risk. And as far as like a vetting process, so you could try that. That's like an easy way to start, at least maybe like getting in some coffee dates, or just like try to start opening yourself up to people and obviously vetting them appropriately before you meet them. But then I just think as you heal, a shift in energy will also happen for you. Like the more that you just say it out loud, like I'm ready to do this, you also might be paying attention to your surroundings more when you're out in the world to be open to those opportunities to find you. So I think be very kind with yourself and just know that it might be a process, but the first step is being open to it and, you know, taking that step, even if it's scary.
Yeah. Because there's going to still be disappointments out there. Unfortunately, that is the nature of dating, but not every situation has to end up as an SA situation.
Yeah.
I think also too, I mean, sometimes it's difficult because everyone can be booed up, but I always like am asking my friends who know a lot of people, or if they are married or in a relationship and their significant other has friends. I'm like, you have anyone
Give me
you
that.
want to introduce me to? I'd very much enjoy that because I don't do dating apps. I prefer to meet people in the real world or through other people mostly. But good luck.
Yeah, and
We're
dating,
rooting
trust
for
me,
you.
I don't do them anymore, but dating apps can be hard. But yeah, so it's great when you have a little meet cute, or, you know, it's like basically working off referrals when you meet someone through someone. But yeah, you'll get there.
Anonymous says, LA is a very vanity driven city. When you moved to LA, what shocked you and how did you deal with your self-esteem?
I wouldn't say it shocked me because I feel like I was prepared for it when I moved here, but the amount of tens in the wild that are just running around, and there's models and actresses and influencers and people trying to be someone. And I feel like I've always tried hard to, in terms of like, even on the internet, protect my boundaries. If someone makes me feel really bad about myself, or like, I just don't ingest it. So I'll unfollow them. But it's hard not to notice when you're out here that there's just so much hotness. So, I mean, for me, it's like I've tried really hard over the past few years to work on my self-esteem from a foundational place that really didn't have anything to do with how I look, but more so how I felt about myself. And obviously, your looks do play a role in that. But I think before I mean, I'm super vain, so I've always reached for those things and like just realized that it needed to come from a deeper place for me. And so I feel a little bit more protected, but I would be lying if I said that I don't compare myself and that I don't feel like a few episodes ago, I was like worried about my cellulite, and like we all have those things. So it's also just about being realistic about it and understanding that like there's an unrealistic beauty standard in our culture right now, but the epicenter of that is LA. So it's just trying hard to be realistic about things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember really how I felt about things when I moved here. I was 20. So, I mean, I don't know. But now, yeah, desperately trying hard not to compare myself to anyone because I don't, it's impossible to. You can look at people and be like, oh my God, their body's like perfect and yeah, all this stuff. But I think that's a really slippery slope. I try to focus on the things I do like about myself and really embrace those things. Like, I think whether they're physical or not, because I think at the end of the day, looks fade, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, all of those things you can say. So I try to just be a well-rounded person and be very interesting. I don't want the most interesting thing about me to be the way I look. So
Oh yeah.
I think like focusing in on like the things that I think are my strong qualities. I'm hilarious. I'm loyal. I'm, driven, ambitious. I'm funny. I heard to say that one. But yeah, I just think those things are, and focus on that and not focus on the things that I lack. Because I'm never going to have that type of body. I'm never going to have that type of face, but I can be the best version of myself when I'm applying it and not worrying about that other noise.
Well, my therapist talks about it all the time. Sometimes if I'm being too fixated on something that I can't control or too hard on myself, I know it sounds corny, but affirmations, like truly you have to gas yourself up. Everyone has strong suits. Everyone has things that are great about them. So trying to focus on that. And also, I will tell you from living out here, I think it's a generalization that there's LA people or people suck here. I think there's so many wonderful people.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I've met a lot of very, very hot people here that are super ugly on the inside, or ding-dongs, or have been so hot they've never really had to develop as a person, and it shows. So I personally would rather develop as a person.
I think that's something that we've embraced as we've gotten a little bit older, is that like it's really not about looks. I've been not initially attracted to somebody right off the bat, and then I got to know them and they became the most beautiful person I've ever seen. So I don't know, we're all vain at some point. I mean, obviously, like I care about getting dressed. I care about putting makeup on. I care about like those things are all vain, but it's also because it makes me just feel better. It makes me feel like I can enter the world with the best foot forward.
Totally. You can only control what you can. So focus on what you can control and spend your time there.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Susan says, I want advice about my breakup. I dated this guy for 1 year and 10 months, and we were amazing at first. And then we started doing long distance because I had to move for school and he had to finish school. We worked through long distance and it was working till it was not. He did not make me a priority and started saying that an hour a day to talk and text throughout the day was enough. I love him and I truly feel he was my person and he was going through a lot when we broke up. Essentially, my question is, how do you know if this is your person? I miss him so much because he was my best friend. And he also said he misses me too because I had a huge impact on him, but he knows we can't be together right now because he needs to mature, learn to live alone and while the distance. How do I know when to give up or not? We said we'd meet in a couple years to catch up and maybe that could be a good time to get back together. Oh, la, 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 la.
I think it's less about figuring out specifically if this is your person and more about letting what's going to happen. So like the distance happened, that you're working against a few things. And also I think it can totally hold you back if you're like, okay, but we'll meet up in a few years. I think at this point you need to live your life and just, if it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
Yeah, and 100%. And that could be in 5 years, it could be in 10 years. But I think not putting your life on pause and like worrying and concerning yourself whether or not this person is the right person for you. There is multiple people that can be right for you. Mm-hmm. But I think just focusing on yourself right now and how you feel in general about this person. I don't think this person is, there's one thing, they're saying things and then there's doing things. When someone can tell you whatever bullshit they want, but if they're acting differently or not making the effort, that is a reflection of their interest and their investment in you. So I think I would pay attention to what he's doing and not what he's saying.
Yes.
And I would focus on yourself because who knows, like the minute that you put this to bed, another right person for you could walk right in the door. So I think just being more open, like you said, to what you have. It sounds like also you're young if you're talking about school. And let me tell you, you don't want to meet your person when you're in your early 20s because you're not going to be the same person in 10 years from now.
You could be the whole right package at the wrong address.
Uh-huh. But I'm sorry. I know that sucks when it just becomes circumstantial and it takes you away from somebody. But I think that's oftentimes the universe intervening in ways as well, saying like, different path. Let's go.
Totally. Last one. Jordan says, I'm 34 and in a happy relationship of 7.5 years. I'm so sick of the engagement, marriage, babies question I get from people all the time. You're both hilarious, so wondering if you have any clever, funny answers to reply with to throw people off. Those questions need to stay in 2023. I'm over it. Maybe one for family and friends, then one for strangers and people I don't know that well. Thank you.
I think the funniest thing is when people want to be like, oh, are you guys going to have babies soon? You make them feel really uncomfortable. Obviously, you can't do this with friends and family because they'll know. But you can just say like, oh, well, I'm barren. And they're like, oh my God. You're like, yeah, do you understand that is so inappropriate to ask people those questions because you don't know what their situation is. You don't know, like maybe they cannot have kids. So why are you being so invasive and nosy asking like when someone's going to have kids? Because they might not want it. It might not be the priority in their life right now. So just to look at them, it's just like, oh, I'm actually barren.
Holding the stare is important too. Just the deadpan of it all.
Yeah. And for friends and family, I think, again, it's kind of throwing it back to them when they're like, when are you guys going to have kids? I'm like, when are you going to shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
I will have kids when you stop asking me that question. How about that?
Yeah.
Because I know what that feels like. It is so annoying.
And also, if it's like your parents or like there's grandparents, be like, well, you had kids and you didn't do a very good job of it. So I don't really want to repeat past mistakes. You know what I mean? For engagement and marriage, like if you don't know the people very well, you can be like, oh, well, my partner says I'm too ugly to marry. So I guess I'm just going to be a spinster. If you're talking to family or friends and they're divorced, you should be like, well, I was thinking about marriage, but then I saw what happened with yours.
Yeah, you haven't been the most inspired. Like, I haven't been really inspired by anyone around me to get married. She's like, oh, why? So I can hate my husband as much as you hate yours?
Yeah. Uncle Toby, aren't you on your third marriage? So I guess forever shouldn't be in your vows, right? I'll see you on the fourth, though.
Yeah. I think it's just be like, well, just because you decided to make decisions that you're not happy with doesn't mean I should.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to get divorced?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When are you getting divorced? Why would you ask that? Why would you ask that? Why would you ask that?
I think I'm going to get married when I see one person around me that has a marriage that doesn't make them want to scratch their eyes out.
Yeah, I'll get married when people's husbands stop hitting on me.
Isn't it always too, I'm sure you get this in the DMs and the comments when some guy is leaving you some random shit and then you go to his profile and they're always like, wifey tagging their wife with their, and I'm like, you are such a scumbag.
Oh yeah, no. The amount of DMs from and maybe not even a wife, but then all of a sudden Valentine's Day comes around. There's never a sign of a woman in their life, girlfriend, wife, whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like the love of my life, 3 years together. I'm like, 3 years? Why the fuck are you talking? Why are you bugging me? First of all, it doesn't need to necessarily even be like a super flirtatious interaction, but also like, I didn't hit you up.
Mm-mm.
So what's you doing here, buddy? But yeah, I think you just make people feel really uncomfortable and be just really snarky with it.
I think that TikTok is the best thing to ever happen to any of us. And I feel like I've seen TikToks related to this. So also like search it. Search like responses to when people are asking you questions you don't want to answer. But I mean, yeah, I think any of those were great. So I think we would both err on the side of making people as uncomfortable as possible.
Yeah.
And perhaps you're doing the Lord's work because maybe it'll stick with them and they'll stop asking
Yeah,
other people those questions.
especially if you tell someone that you're barren. Are they that bored in their
Or
marriage?
be like, yeah, I did have a baby and it came out really ugly, so I gave it away. I just decided it's probably not a good idea.
Oh no.
Yeah, something to make them uncomfortable.
Yeah. Any of those will do.
All right.
That was good.
This
Thank you all for writing in. That was wonderful.
is our test episode. Do not stop writing in. WWDD, any advice you need, any stories you want to tell us that are weird, crazy, funny, scary, anything, disrespectfullypod@gmail.com. And
In the subject line, make sure you put WWDD or hometown so we know, because sometimes they sound a little similar.
which is which. And then please let us know what you think. Should we do 2 episodes a week?
Did you enjoy this episode? Let us know because we can do more deep dives.
Yeah, I like. How'd you feel? I liked being able to take more time with it.
I liked it as well because sometimes I have so many thoughts and little anecdotes and personal little stories of my own that align with these things. So I like to be able to share that. But we don't get to when we have these in our regular episode often because we run out of time.
We do.
Because we're, what would you say, level 5 yapping?
Yeah, level 5 yappers. All right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, till next time.
Until next time, love y'all.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Babe, you're gonna see the power of women. Like, disrespectfully.